Hello YouTube, this is Shenanigans, and today we're going to do another little chat. So, thinking about the story that I want to come up with for my whole Minecraft YouTube thing, I've hit across an idea. And basically, we're going to do some time travel shenanigans. As of right now, the plan is very tentative because some of my thoughts on what I could do and what I would like to do are impossible. That is simply because, I'm not part of a group of people that I can do some time travel shenanigans with. But we're not gonna cover too much about what I've got planned. You'll just have to watch and see and hope that everything works out, because I've got some big ideas and it'd be a lot of fun to do. If I can get the people I've got planned in my head to kind of help me out. I don't know, it's not like I'm somebody that they talk to or anything, but I do have some plans. I want to do some time travel shenanigans with the hermits. Yeah, I'm not a hermit, so it'll probably never happen, but I need to try and be loose about it, because there is a good chance that some of these ideas would never work. Specifically, like, I'm not in with that group. I'm not part of them. So, and I kind of hate that I keep coming up with ideas of revolving around them and I'm not even part of them. But at the same time, like, it's really cool to think about, ideas like this. Like, what if I was part of a big group and I could come up with stuff like this? It is a great idea, but I do need to try and remember to keep it within a realm that there's a good chance that, it'd never happen. Like, I need to be able to come up with things that are outside of that particular SMP. As a big fan of theirs, it is kind of hard to come up with different ideas that don't involve them, if that makes sense. But at the same time, that's just how I am. That's just how my brain works, like coming up with story arcs and everything, which I know they tried to do in season 8, but some of them didn't really like it, and some of them were really enjoying it and they loved what they did, and everybody's different. So as of right now, I've got some ideas, and oh my gosh, I didn't realize that drink dyed my tongue. Wow, I just saw that. Sorry about that. And it looks like it dyed my teeth. Awesome. Great way to do a video. But anyway, let's talk some more about the time travel stuff, because, and this is where I want to start kind of breaking out and breaking into talking about a little bit of physics. Let's talk about time travel in movies first. So, time travel in movies and in other fantasy genres is kind of hit or miss. Like, I really feel like they do things wrong in some cases and amazingly in others. There's a couple movies that I did think about on my way to work that I just absolutely loved the time travel stuff that they put in there. So let's start off with that. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. They did a phenomenal job with how they handled time travel in that. I loved it. The whole concept of things that happened are things that they did just was perfect. It fit in well. It didn't mess with anything. It just made you realize that, things that happened were happening on purpose. And I loved how they did that. Another good one is Deja Vu with Denzel Washington. If you haven't seen that movie, it's a great movie. I absolutely love that one. I love how they handled time travel in that. And the way that I try to explain that one is with like train carts, like box carts. Imagine two box carts traveling down the same path, only they're slightly out of phase of each other and on top of each other, meaning that you can kind of move around stuff and it'll affect the other one. And that's kind of how I see how they did that, and it works. They did a good job. Like, everything he's seeing throughout that movie is things that he did, only he didn't do those in his present timeline. So how did that stuff get moved? And that's easily explained by the whole box cart thing, where two box carts are moving and it's slowly changing the other one. It never overtakes it, but he can see the effects of it, of what happened in his present. Like, it's just a really cool way that they did that. I absolutely love that one. Now, let's talk about some time travel that I don't like. And this is going to be kind of annoying. Mostly because I absolutely love some of these movies, but I find their time travel stuff just absolutely bad in some cases. And I don't mean completely bad. I don't mean like it makes no sense, because they do it in ways that makes perfect sense. They do it in ways that I take slight issues with, and which is weird. One of my coworkers is always saying that, like, why do I take issue with this when this? Let's just try to keep fantasy in a realm of believability to an extent. When they break things in such a way that it plausibly does not make sense, I don't like it. And a good example of that is the time travel in Avengers Endgame. Now, the reason I take issue with that is not what they do, what they go about, because that movie is epic. It's how they do the time travel that I take issue with. And goes into the realm of, like, movies with time travel that I just, like, why? It makes no plausible sense to me. The Avengers, as you know, shrink down, go into the quantum realm, and are able to navigate it to a different point in time. Now, technically, according to what all they're doing, they didn't travel to a different point in time, but rather a different point in a different universe. Yes and no, and the real issue I have there is Ant-Man's shrinking ability, and we're not going to get into that. That's for a different video. But I was really hoping they weren't going to go with time travel in that. They did. The movie is still epic, but the whole time travel thing through the quantum, no. There's reasons for that, and like I said, we'll get into that for another video. Believe it or not, as much as I love the Back to the Future movies, their time travel rules also kind of don't make sense to me. Time travel in general doesn't. Again, we'll get into that in a different video where I actually go into some issues and some of the physics and everything. And by saying physics, I'm being general there. I don't know the physics of time travel and such. I'm not that well versed. It's just some general thoughts revolving around physics is more correct in my understanding of certain things. But back to the Future. So one of the issues I take with Back to the Future is that things change around the characters, and the characters themselves do not change. They are the exact same person that they were before the changes happened. And I take issue with that. And that's just one of those general things about about time travel, where there are multiple versions of what time travel is capable of and what you can and cannot do, and just all sorts of different things. And one of those examples is the rubber band time travel. And in the rubber band time travel, you can play with, rubber band doesn't really work. Maybe we should start calling that the clay sculpture time travel. And by that I mean you can mold the clay into anything you want. The idea with the rubber band is that you can stretch it and bend it, and it just stays the same. Or maybe I got the wrong one there. There is another one that may be the same thing. But the idea there is you can do whatever you want to time. It's not going to matter. It's just going to shape and reformat to go where it was supposed to. Like if you put a bend here, it's still going to its point, regardless of the bend. Another version is the brittle version, where the entire universe falls apart if even one thing changes. And another one is basically the same, where if you change one little thing, it causes a cascade of effects. And you can actually see this in the movie The Butterfly Effect, which I don't mind that movie too much. It was not one of my favorites. But the idea there is that anything you do changes the outcome, and in drastic ways. Like, I mean, so much as stepping on a ladybug could result in the end of the universe, kind of thing. That's what that time travel is all about. And then there is the cause and effect time travel. And cause and effect is both good and bad. And what I mean by this in the good way is Harry Potter and Prisoner of Azkaban. Everything they did is what caused certain other things to happen, which is perfectly fine. And then you've got the bad stuff. And I don't know of any particular movies or TV shows that have done this, but it's wherein you go back, you try, let's say that you go back in time to try and stop World War II. I don't know, maybe you're trying to assassinate Hitler. Let's go with that. But the cause and effect there is because you went back to try and stop him, you are solely responsible for World War II happening. And no matter what you do, that's it. You're the reason it happened. And it's history at that point. But yeah, you got that one. And one big time travel thing I gotta talk about. Doctor Who. Doctor Who does a lot of time travel, but they never really change history per se. Doctor Who's time travel is more about them going back to a point in time and enjoying it, and things happen. I mean, the idea is that they're there to enjoy stuff. Something happens, the Doctor has to take care of it. That's their general take on time travel, where the Doctor's just going where he's needed all the time. So there's nothing really to talk about there. I guess you could say that that's kind of cause and effect kind of thing. They never really alter events. I mean, they did with the anniversary episode, the special, where the Doctor saves his own people instead of killing them. But the way they kind of play that out is that that's always what has been, and because that's what needed to happen, the Doctor's memory is kind of played with to make him think that he did do some bad things, so that the time stream stays together. But yeah, that's kind of a different take on time travel. So just to sum up everything, what I'm thinking is we're going to do some time travel shenanigans. We're gonna have fun with that. I am learning a little bit about how to do certain visuals, so hopefully I'll be doing some test footage in the near future to see if I can try and figure this out. I've got ideas on how to do it because I was playing around with something for this whole time travel shenanigans. And actually it didn't start off as time travel shenanigans. It started off as alternate universe shenanigans. And then I just kind of started thinking about it. I was like, we could do some time travel stuff. We could have some fun with that, which is weird because, you know, while I have written some stories out and I've never completed them, I've never written or tried to do a story about time travel, mostly because I hate how others portray it. So maybe using that, I can kind of portray time travel in a different way. This should be an interesting concept to do, and it would be absolutely phenomenal if I could get other people in on that. Whether or not that happens, I don't know. And right now, with what I'm figuring out that I can do with certain things, with some of the technology that I do have access to, such as programs and my own computer, I've got to figure out some more things, but I know how to do some of the things that I would like to now. And it's just going to take me playing around with it, doing some test footage, uploading it, and seeing what people think. It is going to be interesting if I can get this to work. I know how to do it, but the actual, like, doing it is a whole nother animal. Like, whole nother animal. Like, I do know a little bit about programming in Java. I don't think I could go in and make a mod for Minecraft kind of level. That's the kind of difference we're talking here. Like, there are some things that I'm pretty sure I can figure out how to do, but therein doing the stuff is going to be a little more challenging. And it's really gonna have to push me creatively in order to do those things. So yeah, this is the journey starting, and we've got a week away before this journey just launches. So, and what I mean by that is the time that I've got to do these kinds of things and experiment with what I can and cannot do is going to be much greater. Like, I'm going to have a lot more time on my hands, which is also kind of scary. We'll get into that some other time, but for now, I've got to get into work. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and have a great day. Do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe. This is Shenanigans, and I'm out.